and devolution of powers, and control of resources. Now, it is that last bit that keeps on being the stumbling block, which it should not be. Because as we have noted, in a state like Bauchi, there's so many resources. It's in fact potentially richer than the Niger Delta states if they develop these resources. Even in the Niger Delta, the resources are not being developed. All that's being done is oil being exploited. They are not developing oil. So we are not seeing byproducts of oil or end products of oil development. And this would be possible only if you allow the federating unit, which the Southwest has said must be regions. The Southeast has said must be regions. The South-South has said must be regions. Now, I understand, in fact, the Middle Belt also has subscribed that it should be regions. If 4 out of 6 subscribe to a position, I find it a bit incongruous that the whole concept is being brushed aside. That is the real basis. That was the reason for the call for the national conference. Because we all know that Nigeria progressed better in the first few years of its independence than it has done in all these last few years.
And is that by virtue of the fact that it was based on regions?
On federalism, based on regions, and based on devolution of powers.
Okay, let me ask you. I can see you nodding and shaking your head almost at the same time, and I don't know how that is possible. What's your thought on the idea that the national conference was put together with a view to sort out this issue of federalism? Is that the only thing, or the basis?
It is about the structure, the architectural configuration of Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm an unrepentant and unapologetic advocate of federalism. But democracy is about majority will have their way, minority their say. Sometimes you have tyranny of majority. You have to live with it. But there is a creative way that we can still tinker with regionalism that I'm not going to disclose here. A window has been opened. But let me tell you, let's ask ourselves, including my friend here, why has it been difficult for this government to reduce the humongous recurrent expenditure of the federal government since 1998, 72.4%? And you tell me National Assembly can do this. I mean, it may break. There is an extant law that allows parastatals in Nigeria to deduct from source their recurrent expenditure. I won't mention the parastatal. In 1 year, it made 140 billion, and it took 120 billion as recurrent expenditure from source. That law is there. The National Assembly has now abrogated it. And you want us to continue this insanity. Because it is insanity to continue to do the same way, the same way, and you will expect a different result. That's one. Two, we have recommended that states should have their own constitution. Will the National Assembly do that? And when you have a state having its constitution, there are many things you can do on your own. Thirdly, if Southwest, may I also say this, even in our Southwest, Lagos State government presented a memo that is opposed to regionalism. Some people from Ekiti are opposed to regionalism because they don't want to go to Ibadan. The radio state, that is not even regionalism, but they can go to Abuja. Enugu State or Ebonyi, we tried to convince some people, some delegates that, look, this regionalism is not about you going back to your old oppressors. Because to be fair to some of them, under a regional structure, they lacked amenities. But when they created states, new secretariat, new government house, the elites of Nigeria are the problems. They are the ones benefiting from all of this. I'm not opposed to creation of states. But what we have done, touching and concerning and regarding local government, is that we have said that expunge local government from the constitution.
Exactly.
Okay? And then allow to create as many local governments as they want. That is the arrangement I would have loved. For us to have federating units that will be strong, viable, 6 of them. And then allow the Southwest to create as many states as he wants. Allow all of that.
And run the states.
And run the states. After all, in India, Uttar Pradesh is a state in India, 200 million people bigger than Nigeria. Australia has 6 states, each one bigger than Nigeria. California is a state in America, bigger than Nigeria. Something must be wrong with us. If India, 1.2 billion population, has 27 states and 6 union territories, and you, Nigeria, 150 or 180 million, we don't even know how many we are. We have 36, and we have recommended additional, how many?
18.
Something must be
What
wrong.
are we doing
somewhere.
with those states?
No, but that's a recommendation. It is not mandatory that states to be created. But you see,
It's democracy.
I can tell you,
The majority
I can tell you, we went to push for regionalism, parliamentary democracy.
And did you succeed?
We lost.
Okay, so you
But
failed.
as I've said,
There's a window.
there's a window. Look at land use. Look at land use act. Tell me a country that you know in the world that has not amended its land laws in 38 years. Just tell me. I've been a lawyer for 27 years, and I've been a real estate person all over my life. I've seen other jurisdictions. Your land is your wealth, and you must have laws that you can easily amend based on exigencies of time. I served in the Committee of Land Tenure and National Boundary Matters. We recommended that it should be expunged from the Constitution. In fact, it should be abrogated. But we got to the plenary. In fact, it was the most contentious that we had to bracket it for months. And today, it will still remain in the Constitution. And you can't amend it as easily as you would have wanted it to be. I don't know of any jurisdiction that is doing that. Yet, we keep saying National Assembly is there. There are so many things National Assembly has not been able to do.
So in essence,
So
now, just before...
Well, if
Osita
Osita
Kochukwu,
react to
before
me,
him-
I have the right of reply because I didn't do that the other time.
Before I would wait, I would say you should hold on for a second. But I was going to ask you this then, in view of all of what you have said, because the more you talk, initially you said that you guys have done well, the members of the National Conference have done well, but now the more you talk and you bring out the issues of the things that the National Conference has failed to reach an agreement on,
we didn't fail to reach agreement.
The agreement, okay,
majority
Has
won.
his way.
Okay, so majority winning on issues that are meant to be fundamental in terms of the
But
restructuring.
states have been recommended that they should have their constitution. If they like, let them cooperate and integrate. Isn't that
It's as simple as
regionalism?
that.
It's as simple as that.
As simple
then-
as that.
Only the deep can cut to the deep. I can tell you this. Look, all these things we talk about regionalism, it is simply about integration and cooperation.
That's all.
Let us have cooperation on areas of health, infrastructure, transportation, what have you, so that you benefit from what we call economies of scale.
Okay,
as
you're a
simple as
lawyer.
that.
You're a lawyer of over 20 years, and you know...
27.
27, okay, so it's still over 20 years. But if you want to be
closer to
exact...
30.
Okay, closer to 30. Now, if you say you're a lawyer of closer to 30 years of experience, now, is it possible to say that we can have the things we want without legislating it?
Without legislating what?
The things we want, for example,
Without
regionalism, without legislation, we can all just say, oh yeah, we're good people.
Ideally, the ideal thing.